Hey everybody, welcome back to Thrasher's Ghetto Fab, and today we're working on Ron Burgundy, Colin's favorite car, 67 Fairlane wagon. He's over there shaking his head. I don't get it. But anyways, so, Colin, come over here and show them what we're going to do today. So when we talked about this car had a stock 289 in it, and it ran great, like I said before in an earlier video. But we do need a little upgrade in this thing. I do want a little bit of rumble to it, a little bit more power. So we talked about options. We talked about, do we LS swap this thing? Probably the easiest thing to do. Simple 5.3 cam, and we can just still do a T5, 5-speed, all that kind of stuff, right? But something in me, I'm getting old. I don't know what it is. I said, I'm going to keep this thing all Ford. I didn't want the purist up my ass about whatever. So we're doing a 302. But saying that, what we want to do is I want my 289 to look like, or excuse me, I want my 302 to look like the factory 289. Blue, manifolds, everything, but I still want, kind of like my grocery getter sleeper. So what I came up with here, so Colin, go ahead and come over here. We got a set of Blueprint heads here. I got these off Marketplace. Colin and I were doing the disc brake swap, and we met a guy that had him and his kid have an SN90, a couple of SN95s. They were road racing them, and his son blew up his 302. And me being who I am, I bought all his junk parts. The head was this head actually here. Let's see, which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, thanks, Colin. It was this one here. It dropped a valve and completely destroyed his combustion chamber. I welded it all back up and had new seats and guides put in it, and I've went ahead and I've cleaned up all the bowls, combustion chambers, whatever, and this is back to normal. I said, what a pain in the ass. I probably should have bought us another set of heads, but they are good heads, and big valves, and they should make a ton of power relatively. That being said, I wanted, to make this thing look stock, and I wanted to run exhaust manifolds for a couple reasons. Like I said, to look stock, but I also wanted, things to steel up and just work like they should. Exhaust leaks, that type of thing. This is a daily driver. Everyone knows that the LS and the small block Ford are like identical when it comes to bore spacing and all that kind of stuff. So these are LS exhaust manifolds. From what I've heard, they'll support up to 500 horse. This thing makes nowhere near that, nor will it. And so here we are. So these are LS exhaust manifolds. I'm going to show you in this video how I adapted these to the small block Ford head. This one is obviously done. Couple things that I would probably say is if I was going to do it again, I would probably move the bolt spacing to here, just to make it easier, but whatever. So Colin, come over here. I'll show you how close these are. Here is the LS gasket. As you can see, it is very close. So what I did on the other head, is I'm going to drill all of these out, and I'm going to slide these slugs in here that I've made already. And we're going to weld up every single one of these holes and just start from scratch. The first head I didn't do that, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. So this one I'm going to weld this completely up, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to adapt this LS manifold to the Ford heads. So that's what this video is about. And we'll set the camera up here, and we will get some of the welding done first, and I'll show you how I set the bore spacing up and what I have to do to make everything clear and work. All right, guys, so you can see that I got the plugs in here. The reason I did the plugs is there's no way I could weld down an inch. So I cut these about 1/8 inch, 3/16 below the surface is kind of what I was aiming for here. Maybe like them a little bit deeper, but whatever, it's gonna be just fine. I'm gonna weld these up here, and then I'm gonna grind these off, mill them off. No, I'm not gonna mill them off because I don't have a mill. So I'm just gonna grind them off. Should mill them off, but like I said, don't have one. So gonna weld these up, and I am going to get these ground smooth, and that'll completely get rid of any kind of mounting holes that we had here on the Ford, and set us up for the LS, which, you know, you can see is close. It's down, right? But it's just a little bit off, right? It's just, I could probably grind and make shit fit or whatever, but I think this is going to be better. I know it's going to be better because I'd already done it on the other side, but going to weld these up, and that gives me a nice solid thing to drill and tap the new plate, you know, the new holes into. So we'll weld these up, and we'll keep rolling with this video. All right, so as you can see, everything is welded up. All the Ford holes are gone. All the you know, what is it called? The 3-inch spacing, whatever. Because Fords have stupid small ports from the factory. I think it's a great design on the Ford. You know, with the symmetrical port, I mean, that's way ahead of the time in the 60s, but my God, they have some small ports on them. But, so yeah, this is, like I said, these are all welded up. I'm gonna go ahead and get these ground down, milled. You know, I'm using air quotes here, but gonna get those done, and we will start drilling some holes for the new manifolds. All right, so there's one head. It's all welded up and ground. And you can see I've even got one drilled and tapped here. Just so we're just off camera doing that, whatever. So anyway, so that is drilled and tapped. I'm gonna mount the manifold back on here. Two of these, I went with 3/8 16. I can't remember which one, whatever ones that don't get in the way of the plugs. Plugs are super close on this. I'm sure because the LS has a higher exhaust port, but whatever. So anyways, I'm going to get this mounted with the 3/8 16, and then from there I'm going to show you how I made clearance for the plugs, and then I use a 5/16 on those and a button head just to make sure I can get the boot by there and you know, put the plugs in and out without having to do too much screwing around. So I'm going to get the manifold mounted up on here, and I'm going to go ahead and drill and tap the other, I think it's just this one here. Go ahead and drill and tap the other 3/16 bolt, and then from there we're just going to keep rolling and show you how I kind of make this all fit. All right, guys, so we can see I got a couple holes here drilled, tapped, and I got the manifold sitting on here now. What I'm moving forward to now is, you can see I got this one also drilled and tapped. These I went with 3/8 just because that's what I was kind of used to. I started on the other head with 3/8 and then realized that it was going to be too big, so I went to 5/16. Instead of redoing everything, I just left and matched them. So it is kind of oddball, but it works. So the issue now, what you're going to see here is getting the plug in here is really tight, and it will go in there, but you can see it's hitting. So what I did on the other side is I basically ground this, use a die grinder until I can get the socket in there, and I figured that should give me enough room to get the plug in there, tighten it down, and then also be able to put the boot on there for the spark plug wire. Same thing here, you can see it's tight, so all that needs ground. And then this one here's this one's the nastiest one here. I don't know why Chevy would do this, but they wouldn't just put, keep this the same. It's really goofy how they did this. This is the only part where I had to kind of get away from the LS pattern, if you will. I had to take, and I have to grind this one kind of up and in. Did that on the other side there, and it actually works. Like I said earlier in the video, maybe I should have drilled and tapped here, or excuse me, drilled and tapped the manifold here. I was trying to keep the LS pattern, and just couldn't quite do it, for changing gaskets or whatever the case may be. But it's close enough, and I just do have to modify the gasket just a touch to make it work. But like I said, I'm going to get this camera set up here, and we are going to grind this one for clearance, or and we'll keep going along here. And like I said, hopefully have this done shortly. All right, well, you can see I got that ground out there on the video. Put these are funny on this side. I actually have more room for some reason. I don't know the way the manifolds are going the opposite way, with the plugs coming this way, pointing forward instead of backwards. But yeah, they fit. This one fits really nice. And then you see right there, the spark plug wrench go right in there. Pull the plugs out, and I'm going to keep moving on this. Maybe comes out okay. And yeah, I'm gonna hit all these, get these ground, do those off camera, and then the last part we're gonna have to do is I'll show you guys what I did here. But these center holes actually hit water jackets, and I know I could leave it like that. I think Mopars are like that, but I don't want any leaks here. I don't worry about putting sealant or whatever. So I make a boss, and I weld that in there. So I'll show you what I do there to make sure that's a blind hole. It's not leaking coolant out of it.